How many people did he kill? How many did he brutally torture? Did he really drink human blood? And most importantly, how did Vlad the Impaler, known to the world as Dracula, meet his end? To find the answers to these questions, we embark on a dark journey where legend and history intertwine. If you've subscribed, let's begin. Amid the mist-shrouded mountains of Transylvania, a fortress rises, daring the sky itself. Its stone walls, weathered by centuries of wind and storms, and its towers piercing the darkness, create an imposing silhouette. This is Bran Castle, but worldwide it is known by a far more chilling name, Dracula's Castle. The stones and shadows of the castle are silent witnesses to centuries of terror and legend. Bran Castle was built in the 14th century, around 1377. Strategically perched on the border between Transylvania and Wallachia in southern Romania, it served as a vital defensive post against the Ottoman Empire's advance into the Balkans. Over centuries, it watched over trade routes, seeing soldiers, merchants, and kings pass through its gates. But what makes these walls world famous is their connection to a blood-soaked figure, Vlad III, also known as Vlad the Impaler. Vlad's childhood was as dark as the legend surrounding him. Sent as a hostage to the Ottoman court, due to his father's political maneuvers, he absorbed both Ottoman culture and the concepts of power, ruthlessness, and authority at a very young age. These experiences laid the foundation for his merciless rule. Even as a child, the balance of fear and power he observed would later shape the brutal order he would impose on his realm. When he ascended the throne, Vlad became notorious, not only for his military strategies, but for the terrifying methods he employed to instill fear. He impaled thousands of prisoners alive. He lined hundreds of stakes at forest entrances to terrify approaching Ottoman and enemy soldiers. Some sources claim that, on one occasion, Vlad impaled up to 20,000 people at once. This horrifying method was not merely punishment, it was a psychological weapon. Bram Stoker later drew inspiration from this blood-soaked image in his novel Dracula. Walking through Bran Castle's stone corridors, one can almost hear the echoes of past horrors. Narrow stairways, hidden passages, dark rooms. At every turn, the shadow of history presses down. Medieval armor, swords, torture instruments displayed within remind visitors that this is not merely a setting for a story, but a witness to ruthless reality. At night, when the mist rolls in, shadows seem to move on their own, and the wind's eerie moan carries faint echoes of screams from centuries past. Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula doesn't recount Vlad's story directly, but it immortalized him as a universal symbol of fear. Stoker never visited Romania or Bran Castle, yet in readers' minds, the castle and the terrifying character became inseparable, with legend overshadowing reality. Today, most visitors see Bran Castle not just as a historical monument, but as the home of vampires and the embodiment of darkness. Dracula-themed festivals, gothic events, midnight tours make it a magnet for both history enthusiasts and horror fans. Vlad the Impaler's cruelty was real. Thousands perished by his hands. Some accounts claim he drank the blood of those he impaled, feasting while listening to their screams. This grim past is etched into the castle's shadows. fueling legends that have persisted for centuries. Vlad was not only a ruler, but a living symbol of humanity's darkest side. So, how did Vlad meet his end? In 1476, he was killed in battle against his enemies. Some accounts say he was mistakenly slain by his own soldiers, who thought he was the enemy. Others claim he was decapitated by Ottoman forces. His head was taken to Istanbul and presented to Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror. Even the man who had become the symbol of terror met a bloody and tragic end. Bran Castle stands at the delicate boundary between history and legend. Was it truly the home of a blood-drinking count, or merely a creation of imagination? Perhaps the answer will never be fully known. Yet one thing is certain. On misty Transylvanian nights, looking up at its towers, you feel an involuntary shiver. This is the echo of a bloody past, perhaps even the whisper of something far darker. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave your comments. Your thoughts are important to us. Where should our next stop be? Another dark castle in Europe, or hidden forests filled with forgotten legends? Let us know in the comments, and join us on our next journey into the shadows.